Well, thank you for tuning in to Surviving and Thriving. I just wanted to check in with you all and let you know that we are doing something new. We will always have our videos come out on Thursday. Sometimes it comes out on Wednesday, depending on my schedule, or it may come out a little later on Friday if I forget. But usually, we're right on point with bringing it out on every Thursday of every week. But we are going to add an extra video every month, and I just wanted to let you guys know it so you can keep an eye out for it. The first Friday of every month will be First Friday Fitness. And here at Surviving and Thriving, we share with you all the things that we have learned that deals with overcoming health challenges, conquering illness, sickness, and disease. And so on the first Friday of every month, it will be Fitness Friday. And I will share with you some of the things that we have done to physically train, to rehabilitate physically, to, as I've told you on many videos, there's been at least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head, times where I've had to learn how to walk again, had to regain strength again. And so we're going to show you some of the things that we've done to help regain strength, to maintain strength, things that you need to do when you're bedridden, things that you do when you're more mobile, how to regain balance, how to regain strength, how to regain your endurance. I'm going to share all of those things with you. Now, I am not a fitness instructor. That's my dad. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I have hired a lot of physical therapy practitioners and technicians. I've gone to rehabilitation centers for physical therapy. I've had them come to my house, and I've had to do this a lot. So I'm going to show you the things that they've taught me and the things that I have utilized. I'm going to show you some of the tools that I've used, and I'm also going to share with you other things that I've done, specific herbs, specific oils, specific practitioners that I've used, and the things that I have done to actually help me to stay here, to overcome some things, and to rebuild and to maintain. So look out for that. Every first Friday of every month will be Fitness Friday, and I will share things that I have done with you in the hopes that something in there you can use, you can grab, and it'll be a great takeaway for you so that you can overcome some things quicker, you can overcome some things faster, you may be able to maintain more, and you may be able to avoid some of the pitfalls that I've gone through if I share some of the things that I've paid for and learned with money and with life experiences. Hopefully it'll be helpful to you. So keep an eye on that. I hope you stay tuned. Watch the video that's after this, and I hope it's helpful for you. And remember, in all things, always, do you, be you. Enjoy your video. Bye. Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in life, and most definitely in your health walk. There will be things that will happen to you, things that will be said to you that will hurt and that will anger you, and not just hurt your feelings emotionally. Sometimes it can hurt you physically. Sometimes it can do some tangible real life damage, right? And not just emotional damage. And in a lot of cases, especially when you're dealing with systems and governments and people in positions that are supposedly in authority over you or something like that, right? Then they don't usually apologize. You might not get an apology or an acknowledgement that what they did is wrong. And that can hurt, and that can make you angry. And sometimes you might find yourself in a position of where you're making a stance and you're screaming out because you want this thing acknowledged, right? Acknowledgement may never come. So you're going to have to learn how to release it regardless. However, what I want you to be aware of is that if the acknowledgement does not come and you are making your stance and you are screaming out because you want this thing rectified, you want restitution, you want acknowledgement, you want an apology. Sometimes in standing for yourself, right? And yelling out and wanting it to be acknowledged what has been done to you. Sometimes, even though you're right, you can slip into the wrong. The anger that you're feeling and the bitterness that you're feeling can oftentimes have you to slip out of a position of right and enter a position to where you're now just as wrong. In the wrong, doing wrong, saying wrong, acting wrong, feeling wrong. And sometimes, you guys, you don't even realize it. Most times, you don't even realize you slipped out of your place of right standing, of standing on right, and that you've now entered into something wrong. Be aware of that and be cautious of that, okay? Because you don't want to do that. And so with that, sometimes it is good to learn to just release. Whether you get the apology, whether you get the acknowledgement, whether you get the restitution or not, you have to settle that thing within yourself and release that thing, okay? Now the flip side of that is, be aware that you too hurt people intentionally and non-intentionally alike. And that there are people who want you to acknowledge that hurt, provide an apology or restitution for it. And perhaps they may be angry with you too, right? Now, normally when things like that happen, we have a tendency to excuse ourselves, right? And want to be understood for why we do things and to justify our doings and nail people to the cross for theirs, right? There's a tendency in people to want to be understood and to lack the desire to understand others. If we want to be understood, we need to also seek to understand others as well. Also, know that sometimes what you're looking for, you're not going to get, because sometimes people don't think that what they did to you was wrong. They've justified it within themselves, and they don't think that what they did to you was wrong. Sometimes in some situations, you guys, everything's not always black and white. Some things may be wrong from one point of view, but not wrong in another point of view, right? And we have to understand that. We have to be able to understand that. But I just want to really bring to your attention so that you can be aware to not slip into the wrong, because you can easily slip into the wrong without realizing it. And to also be aware that sometimes some things, some people don't know that they've done wrong to you. And even if you explained it to them, they've justified it within themselves. And it's a lot easier for you to be able to deal with people who have done that to you or who will do that to you when you are mindful, right? That you have done that to others. And so be aware on both sides of it, right? Watch for it in yourself to make sure that you're doing unto others as you would like for them to do unto you. But regardless of all of that, whatever the ought is, whatever the offense is, even if you're in the right, even if they've done you wrong, even if it hurts really, really bad, I know I've been there many, many, many times, you gotta let it go. For your health, for your life, for your enjoyment, for your peace. That is a part of surviving and thriving. It is a large part of surviving and thriving, because when you find out, right, that the medical system isn't always going to do its best for you. Sometimes it's going to do some things that's not good for you, and they know it. They are quite aware of it. That's going to hurt. And sometimes, you can go to these doctor's appointments, and those receptionists behind the desk, they got the attitude, and they're sitting there talking about their weekend, and they got you standing there waiting to be served. That stuff can get on your nerves, right? People lack tact, and people are rude, especially when you're dealing with medical issues, health issues. So that's something you need to be aware of, okay? As always, I'm grateful you watch, and in all things, remember, do you. Until next time, bye.